It's not fair. The death penalty. It's just not fair. It's not fair to take another person's life to supposedly get justice. To mimic their actions does not make us any better than them. I am taught that 2 wrongs don't make a right, yet we still execute murderers. So get this into your head. Murder cannot be abolished by murder. And the death penalty is legal and happening right now all around the world. In the United States, Trump is bringing the implementation of the death penalty back after 16 years of suspension, and is demanding it for all mass murder or hate crimes. Already, he has instigated 5 reinstatements which are about to be or already have been completed. It's not fair that we can mimic their actions with no consequence. And what's worse, many people do not get put on death row for crimes they have committed, yet for the colour of their skin. This is now a racist crime. For example, Anthony Ray Hinton. Anthony Ray Hinton served 28 years on death row in a cell so close to the execution room he could smell flesh being burnt. All for a crime he didn't do. He served 28 years on death row because he was black. Anthony Ray Hinton was wrongly convicted of the 1985 murders of 2 fast food restaurant managers in Birmingham due to a racist lawyer, an inexperienced ballistics expert, and a discreditation of Anthony's boss's statement, which said that he was at work at the time, meant Anthony was wrongly convicted for the crime. The colour of Anthony's skin determined he was guilty and going to die. He was sentenced to death, held in a near solitary confinement for nearly 30 years. He was eventually exonerated in 2015 and released. It is more than bad enough that he was in prison for the best years of his life. But imagine if he had been put to death. It's not fair. When I went to Bali in 2017, I visited Kiribati in prison and gave sushi and chocolate bars to a British grandmother on death row. Her name was Lindsay Sandyford. She was convicted of drug smuggling, a crime that is strictly enforced in Bali. Lindsay was forced into carrying the drugs by a gang who had threatened to harm members of her family if she did not comply with their demands. She was judged guilty, despite helping the police catch the ringleaders of the operation that she was forced to work for. When I met Lindsay, she was living in a 5-metre by 5-metre cell, and even now, at any time with just 72 hours notice, she could be taken to face the firing squad on Indonesia's execution island, all because she was forced to smuggle cocaine. Yes, she was guilty, but was she morally guilty? She felt she had no choice but to do what she had done. Where is the lenience, the empathy, the human appeal? Instead, she will be put to death. Recently, Lindsay has watched 2 inmates be taken away and shot to death. She knows she is next and has apparently given up on life, becoming reclusive and almost ready to die. How awful, living with the expectation of death for so many years. It's not fair. And if you still believe the death penalty is right, think about this. What if they're innocent? What if we kill an innocent person for something we thought they did? Can we ever be sure, really sure, that when we find someone guilty of a crime, we have found the right person? Like David Bain, wrongly accused of murdering his family in Dunedin. Richard Jewell, accused of planting the bomb during the 96 Atlanta Olympics, even though he was the one who alerted the police to it. Yoshiyuki Kunu, falsely accused by the Japanese media as the perpetrator of the Matsumoto sarin attack. Sally Clark, wrongly accused of killing her sons. And the sad thing is, I could name so many others. So not only will placing the death penalty save criminals' lives, it will also save innocent people's lives. So if with extra evidence or technological advancements, we do figure out a man is innocent, we can take him out of jail and return him to his family, instead of having to live with the knowledge that we killed an innocent person. For instance, this would be too late for Cameron Todd Willingham. He was executed in Texas in 2004 for allegedly setting a fire that killed his 3 young daughters. Death by arson. He consistently claimed himself innocent, but was still executed. Only a few months after the execution, after further investigation, the nature of the fire was brought into question, and arson was doubted. This would mean that he did not set the fire deliberately and was innocent, murdered by justice. But what is the solution? I am not suggesting these people do not deserve a punishment. I just think the death penalty should be replaced. I think they could be made to give back to society, whether it is simple ideas like planting trees or picking up rubbish, to turn them into better people, as well as benefiting others. And who knows, it may even be therapeutic for them to know that they're giving back. This would also eliminate the possibility of killing an innocent person. And as I end my speech, I would like to leave you with this quote by Mahatma Gandhi. An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind.